Hello crafters, I'm Flavia and welcome to another Christmas all year round edition. In this video, I will show you my process for mass producing note cards. Today's note cards have a round shape, a lot of shine, and an adorable die cut Santa. To create my Santa die cuts, I will be using the Spellbinders Santa's Here die set, part of the classic Christmas collection. This set comes with 8 metal cutting plates, and I love all of the little details that we get to add to Santa, such as big eyebrows, accents to his boots, and a bell. We also get many options for the arms positioning, which is great. When it comes to mass producing, I feel that I can be more efficient if I break it into steps instead of making one note card at a time. So I will begin by die cutting all of the pieces that I need for all of the note cards that I'm planning on making today. Then I will create my background panels, and after that my card bases and sentiment die cuts. Only after all that I will start assembling the note cards. Before I started recording this video, I did my math, kind of, and I cut enough pieces to make 10 note cards. I like to keep all of the different pieces sorted out in these small triangle trays, and instead of assembling one Santa at a time, I will also break it into steps and assemble different parts and accessories before putting everything together. I will begin by creating the belts, which involves only 2 pieces. On one tray I have the belts that I cut out of black cardstock, and on the other one on the right, I have all the belt buckles that I cut out of gold cardstock, so it has a little bit of shine. Once I'm done assembling these belts, I will move on to the hats that I cut out of red and white cardstock. Since these are very small die cuts, I will use a pair of self-lock tweezers to hold these pieces and a fine tip bottle to apply liquid adhesive, so I have more control over the amount that I'm applying. Then I will move on to Santa's boots that I cut out of black cardstock, along with some golden accents and white socks. Here is a closer look so you can see how adorable they are. Next, we have the bells that I cut out of gray and gold cardstock. It involves putting together 3 die-cut pieces. This is just an accessory and you don't need to add it to your Santa if you don't want to. Moving on, in these 5 triangle trays, I have all of the pieces that I need to create Santa's face. In this first tray, I have the faces that I cut out of different shades of brown cardstock. Then I have beard die cuts in the next tray, mustaches in another one, then noses, lips, and eyebrows in this 4th tray, and on the 5th one, all of the red hats. To make his eyes black, I will add a small strip of black cardstock in the back. I cut this with a pair of scissors and it doesn't really need to be perfect because it will not show. These large red die cuts are Santa's outfit, and I will add some details with these pieces that I cut out of white cardstock. For the arms, I used red and white cardstock, and I cut the gloves out of black cardstock. Here are just a few options for the arms that will allow us to create different types of Santa. He can be either waving, holding a bell, or carrying a sack of presents. And now that I have most of the individual pieces assembled, I can go ahead and start creating my Santas. By the way, I used the Memory Box Earth Neutral 6x6 paper pad to cut out Santa's face, and I love all of the different skin colors. This is a great paper pad for that. As I am assembling my Santas, I will change the arms positioning once in a while, so it is not all the same. That means that some of my Santas will be holding a sack of presents, and others will only be holding a bell. I will also create some that are holding both a sack of presents on one hand and a bell on the other hand. Even though I cut only a few small pieces out of golden cardstock, I feel that it made all the difference in bringing these note cards to the next level. This is a great trick to make your project stand out and look even fancier. Usually when I create a note card that I don't really love at the end, or that I think is missing something, I just go ahead and add silver or gold die cut accents or even sentiments, and it does the trick every time. Moving on to the background panels, I will use the Starburst plate by Spellbinders. I will use gold, blue, and green foil, and I will cut all of the foil pieces that I need with my quick trimmer set. By placing the hot foil plate on top of the trimmer guide, I can make sure that I'm cutting the right size of foil. Under this trimmer guide, I have a small self-healing mat that came with the quick trimmer set, and this blade that I'm using also came with the Quick Trimmer set. We actually get 2 blades with this set, one for cutting foil and another one for cutting paper. If you do a lot of hot foiling, this is a great tool to have. Once I've cut all of my foil pieces, I will go ahead and tape the foil and the metal plate to my cardstock so I can start hot foiling these panels. Notice that I have the colorful side of the foil facing or touching the metal plate, and that is how it should be. Otherwise, the foil will be transferred to the metal plate and not the cardstock. And once I'm ready to place this sandwich that I created, I will flip it so the metal plate is touching my Glimmer machine platform so it gets hot. On the right is my Spellbinders Glimmer machine, and when the second light turns on green, it means that the platform is hot enough and I can start hot foiling. I will also place these 2 metal plates that came with the Glimmer machine on top, and after 1 or 2 minutes I will remove this entire platform and run it through my die cut machine to apply pressure. I will do that off screen since my die cut machine is too big, and notice the beautiful results that we get as I peel each foil off. If you happen to get any overfoiling, make sure to use a sand eraser and a dense clean brush to remove it. This Starburst plate is a great plate to do the reverse foiling technique, and for that reason I will save all of these pieces of foil so I can reuse them later. If you're interested in learning about this technique, you can click on the link on the top right corner for a video where I show you how to do the reverse foiling technique with this plate. You can also find the link in the description box down below so you can watch it later. After I've hot foiled all of my panels, I will cut each one into a large circle. This round metal plate that I'm using is the largest plate included in the Hero Arts Nesting Circle die set. To create rounded shaped note cards, I will use this same large circle die to cut out a circle out of a 5x7 note card. The trick here is to offset the metal plate just a little on the folded side of the note cards so we do not cut out 2 separate circles. Here is a closer look so you can see how much you need to offset the metal plate so you can cut out 2 connected circles that we can use as a card base. Here we have all of the note cards with the hot foiled panels already glued to the front. The white cardstock that I'm using today is by Hammermill, which I love, and by the way, this is a great cardstock for the hot foiling technique. However, because this cardstock is not as heavyweight as I prefer for my card bases, I will also add round die-cut panels inside so it feels heavyweight. To cut out the round panels that I glued to the inside of these note cards, I used the second largest metal plate included in the Hero Arts Nesting Circle die set, so the panels that I added inside my note cards are slightly smaller. For the sentiment, I cut Merry Christmas out of black cardstock. For each note card, I stacked 3 die-cut sentiments, so it has a little bit of dimension. The metal plate that I used to cut out the sentiment Merry Christmas is a plate that is included in the Spellbinders Silent Night set, which is part of the Make a Scene collection. This is not a new release, but I love using it once in a while. I think that the style of the letters are just beautiful, and because this is a long and thin sentiment die cut, I am able to curve it a little bit so it better fits my round-shaped note cards. If you choose to stamp a sentiment instead on a round-shaped note card, know that you can do the same thing by simply curving the stamp when you place it on a stamping tool before stamping your sentiment. Moving on to the envelopes, here I have A6 size white envelopes that I am trimming half an inch from each side so it better fits my note cards. You can definitely skip this step if you want to, but I don't really like when my envelopes are just way bigger than my note cards. This is also a great trick for customizing your envelopes so it better fits the size of your note cards. These A6 size envelopes are too wide for my rounded shaped note cards, and that is why I'm trimming the sides off. However, if you have envelopes that are way too tall for your note cards, you can also resize it by trimming off the bottom of your envelopes. Then we can use liquid adhesive to glue everything back together. And to bring it all together, I will add a thin cardstock strip to the flap of each envelope so it matches the note cards. Here is a closer look at all of the note cards that I created today, and I gotta say that I had so much fun creating it. I love all of the sparkle that we get with the hot foiled background panels. To adhere each center to a note card, I use foam adhesive in the back. And to make these die-cut sentiments shiny, I applied Ranger Glossy accents. I hope you enjoyed this video and some of this information was helpful to you. You can find a supply list for all products used today in the description box down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel so you do not miss the next one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting!